you guys with another quick live stream here this afternoon. I actually have been busting my butt, just trying to get through the month for our pest control business. For those of you that may be tuning in for the first time, regardless if you're tuning in live or tuning in after it goes from a live to a video and you're wondering who the heck is this guy, my name is Griffin Thomas. Of course, I own a pest control company in the Dallas, Texas area, Plano, Texas specifically, Preferred Pest Management. We've been in business for about 4 years now, and on this channel, I just document my overall journey for you guys, just trying to help those of you that are, maybe pest control technician, maybe not even in the industry at all, and you're just looking to maybe, looking around for business ideas, looking at maybe starting a pest control company, getting into a pest control company business. And like I said, just help you all any way that I can. Real quick, a lot of you guys, again, just to reiterate, a lot of you guys have been following for a little bit now, have been asking about, like consultation, this and that. Right now, just literally don't really have the time for it. I addressed this in the middle, towards the end of the previous stream, but I want to address it at the beginning while I have everyone's attention, after the fact, all that good stuff. And I just don't really have the time for that kind of stuff. And like I said, I'm just going to address it really quickly because I know I did it towards the end of the last video when there weren't a lot of people watching. But yeah, we don't really have a lot of time for that. I do plan on coming up with a solution for that for you guys. I already had it in the works previously, but I want to, like I said, kind of address that need for you guys this fall and winter whenever I have time to actually put some time into it. Again, just help you guys in any way that I can. That's feasible, of course, for me, my business, my family, etc. Not taking a bunch of time away from them because, of course, owning a real legit business, running a business, it already takes enough time away from a family as it is. So with that, we'll just kind of, dive right in. As a lot of you guys know, when it comes to my live streams and videos, things of that nature, specifically the live stream, we always have a topic that, we're going to kind of hit on. And then from there, as more of you guys follow in for the live stream, as you guys start to tune in and ask questions, we'll address your questions along the way. It doesn't have to be about the topic that we're discussing. You can literally bring up anything, business, pest control, whatever the case may be, related. And yeah, I'll just address those questions as they come in along, like we said, sprinkled in with a actual topic. Topic for today, as you guys seen by the title, if you're starting a pest control business, don't do this. And you might be wondering, what is this? Like that's probably why you clicked on this video. The title, you're probably like, well, what is this? Like, is it one thing? Is it multiple things? Yes, it is one thing, but there is multiple things. So yes to both questions. How's it going there, Tara Tucker? Good. How are you? Hopefully everything's going well for you all out there. But what are we talking about when I say starting a pest control company, don't do this? It's mostly one thing specifically. Of course, there's a never-ending list, it seems, that you learn as you go through your business journey. But the number one thing that will put you out of business quicker than anything, out of any mistake possible, is pricing your services wrong. And what do I mean by wrong? Do I mean too expensive? Yes, a little bit, but mostly no. Do I mean too cheap? Absolutely. And of course, we all know that, there's always going to be the little guy who, just wants to kind of own their own job. They don't care about growing a business. This isn't for that guy. This is for those of you that are in a boat like me, where you know that not just do I want to own my own job, own my own business, but I want to own a legit business that I can one day sell for multiple X, valuation, right? I don't want to just sell it off, for 50 grand, 20 grand, even 100 grand. Like I want to build this as part of my retirement portfolio that either A, I can exit for a nice juicy 6, 7, 8, 9, probably not 9, but 6, 7, 8 figure range, big close, right? And with that, there's going to be a lot that you do differently than someone like my grandfather, for example, who doesn't really care about that. Never really built his business to sell, just kind of built it as, I'm working for myself, I'm unemployable, that type of route. And that's totally okay. But you have to establish from day one which type of company you are going to be. Are you going to be an actual true company that is growing And growing the right way is obviously in the eye of the beholder. There's multiple ways you can grow your business. Some are, in my opinion, the wrong way, morally speaking. But again, if you're a shark, you're a shark. Go do what you do. But when we're talking about what type of company you're going to be, are you going to be the company that is focusing on growth and again trying to scale that business so you can one day either exit it or one day maybe just step out and have a CEO operating it and you're just collecting checks every month in terms of dividends, right? Or are you looking, like I said, to be someone similar to like my grandfather who's just like, don't really care. I'm just trying to work for myself, provide for myself, not have to work a job, as long as I'm making money. If I can one day sell it for, 50 to 100K, then whatever, it's not a big deal. That's what you have to decide. I know most of you guys here, you're following the channel because you're looking to start a pest control company, a pest control business, and you don't want to be just a one-man show. Most of you. And again, if you do, that's fine. I still think this applies to you, even, to be honest, because like I said, one thing that will put you out of business quicker than anything is pricing your services wrong, specifically pricing them too cheap. And what would I define as too cheap? Anything, regardless, because I see this floating around in a lot of the pest control groups, a lot of people talking about, oh, it depends on your market. To a degree, this is true. But I hear a lot of people, even people in my inner circle, as a matter of fact, I talk to on almost a daily basis, where they'll start to be like, oh man, the market feels awfully cheap. You got to learn the difference between the market versus current market conditions. Current market conditions with a bad economy does not mean that that is your market. They're two separate things, if that makes sense. So could there be a season like right now where the market is really, really bad? It's very hard to get customers. They're going after, for the most part, the bottom of the line, bottom feeders, as I like to refer to them, the cheaper companies, and you have to kind of compete with that. Yes. But that does not dictate that, oh, my market sucks or, oh, my market is cheap. And because of that, you just lower the prices of everything. Absolutely not. That is a quick way to, one, get customers that you do not want. Because like I always stress on this channel, not every customer is the right customer for your business. Not every business is the right business for a customer. If that were the case, there would only be like 3 companies across the board in every industry, and there would be no competition at the end of the day, right? Because everybody has their own preferences. Hell, in my area, in just a 10-mile radius of my house, which you guys know, I recently moved out to what I call BFE, where we're kind of further out in the country a little bit. We're about 40 minutes from downtown Dallas, where we used to be like 20 minutes from downtown Dallas. And just in this area, there's like over half a dozen companies within like a 5-mile radius. There's like 2 to 3 dozen companies within a 10-mile radius. There would be no competition if every customer preferred the same type of business and if every business preferred the same type of customer. So you really have to sit down and kind of write out like a mission statement. Like, what kind of company are we going to be? Are we going to be the cheapest company that uses the cheapest products? We're doing monthly services, yada, yada, yada. We're going to have cheap prices, all that stuff. Or if we're ever going to hire anybody, they're going to be mostly lower wage earners, unfortunately, because that's just the reality of going that route. If so, that's okay. There's companies that thrive on that model. I'm not one of them, but that could be a model for you. The other model, of course, is, like we said, the one-man show. We already dove into that, so no need to get into that. The other one is kind of where I think is kind of the sweet spot. We're not the cheapest, but we're definitely not the most expensive, because the most expensive generally, and again, this is going to be market to market. In my area, it tends to be Terminex, Orkin, the bigger ones. They tend to be the most expensive. And that's funny that I mentioned that, because when we're talking about market conditions, you need to pay attention to what they are doing. If you want to be up towards their pricing, which in my opinion you should, because you probably have more expertise than most of their employees, you're using better chemicals, better practices, yada, 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 then you need to pay attention to what they're doing, because they will oftentimes give you insight on how your market is currently behaving. I noticed my Terminex down here has been running the same $99 special pretty much since winter. Usually in the summer, they transition to like a $50 off offer. They are still right now running their $99 offer. That tells me that, like I already knew, because I can tell based on our lack of closing rate, our closing rate has dropped significantly. We've had a lot of people say that they found cheaper, they found cheaper, they found cheaper. No one's saying that like, oh, you don't, just anything in terms of objections outside of that they found someone cheaper. So finding out that they are still running that $99 offer confirmed with me that, okay, like I expected, market conditions are kind of poor right now. We probably need to have at least some kind of juicy offer with our intro. Your intro offer can be as cheap as you need to be to get that customer in the door. However, again, if you want to be a company that is going to be able to afford to pay people what, if you're one of these people that are beating on the drum of, oh, no one wants to work for a slave wage, with which, by the way, is just, I cannot believe that people like get into that whole stupid debate, but whatever. If you're one of these people that beat that drum, you have to realize in order to pay people a quote unquote living wage, you are going to have to charge your customers accordingly. Money doesn't just come out of thin air. When you sit down and you break down all of your monthly, yearly, etc. expenses, you are literally working as the owner of the business roughly depending on your expenses year to year, 3 to 6 months for free. When you factor in all of your expenses, taxes, monthly, sales tax, vehicle insurance, not vehicle insurance, but auto insurance, commercial insurance, your business insurance. If you have employees already, you have a bunch of tax that goes with that, like, what is it, like payroll taxes and your other insurance, like workers' comp insurance, all these different things. When you actually work out the math, you as the business are putting in your first 3 to 6 months of the year just to pay all of your expenses. So with that, how can you shorten that? You obviously have to charge more for your services. It just is what it is. Otherwise, as you continue to shrink your margins, obviously, what's that going to cause? That's going to cause you as the business owner to make less, or B, you have to pay your employees less. So when I talk about like what is the number one thing that you do not want to do whenever you're starting your pest control company, do not compete with the minnows, as I like to call them. Do not compete with the minnows, the bottom feeders, whatever you want to call them. Do not compete with them. I just spoke to a woman yesterday. She called us from like Allen, Texas, I believe, from we moved our location out to Plano recently. And she call was going great, and did realize she wanted a one-time service, which I wasn't really a fan of, but we sell those too. And I gave her what I consider to be a good price. I said with a 30-day warranty, what was it, like 169, I believe, either 169, 179 for like a 2,000 square foot home, pretty standard one-time pricing with a 30-day warranty. And I was like, if you want to waive the 30-day warranty to save some money, we do knock $25 off for that as well. And she was just like, oh, well, that's considerably more than, some of the other companies that I reached out to. And I told her, I was like, that's no problem whatsoever. Totally understand. It sounds like you're looking for, a cheaper company. We are not a cheaper company, as you've seen before you called us. We have over 100, pushing 120 plus 5-star reviews, no 4s, no 3s, no 2s, no 1s. And with that, we charge a premium price for that because we have a premium service. As I said, I totally understand if you're in the market for a cheaper company. We're not that company, but you will definitely find those out there. If you ever decide you want to give us a try, just give us a call at this number. You cannot try to compete with the minnows at the end of the day, because just an FYI, because like I said, you have to adjust your pricing based on current market conditions. In a healthy market, we normally, for a 2,000 square foot home, charge $200 to $225 depending on travel time, plus tax for a one-time service with a 30-day warranty, regardless of the issue, regardless if it's carpenter ants, roaches, or not German roaches, that's a whole different ballgame, but like American roaches, spiders, etc. Minimum is like 200 plus tax. But again, because I'm always looking at the competitors, I know that market conditions are, not very good right now. The economy is shit. We all know that, right? So I've pulled back on our pricing, at least on the intro side, to a large degree. We're talking $25 to $50 difference from our usual. But I refuse to compete with anybody that is pricing lower than that because, again, you have to make money and not just make money today. That is where a lot of you guys get caught up. You do what I call quick math. You go, oh man, like, it's going to take maybe an hour of my time with drive time and everything. It's going to take maybe $5 or so in chemical. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then you just go and price it at $75 or $95. I heard someone doing one-time services for $79 in the area with a 30-day warranty. I'm like, how are you making money? Because the moment you get a call back, you're already losing money. You're not factoring in having to pay taxes. You're not factoring in wear and tear on your vehicle. Sure, you're factoring in maybe gas, but you're not factoring in the wear and tear on your tires. You're not factoring wear and tear on your equipment, like your rig or your sprayer, whatever you may be using for the service. You're not factoring in paying yourself or paying an employee. Like, there's so many things that you're just not factoring in, which is why I say it is super important. And I'm going to do a video here in the very, very near future because, wow, I completed my route way quicker than I expected. I only have like one reg left this month. Like, I flew through this month because we've had a lot of rain. So I've just been trying to stay ahead of it. Little did I know, I literally like pushed up all my work to like the first 2.5 weeks of the month. So I do have a couple termite jobs, but outside of that, I got a little bit of time to hopefully pump out some actual videos, not just live streams for you guys here in the coming week or two. But the whole point is I plan on coming out very, very soon with a video for you guys breaking down the true cost of like running a business, not just, as a solo guy, but the cost of hiring someone. It's gonna, make you go like, one, be pissed off about the amount of taxes that we pay, but two, make you just kind of open your mind up to realize like, just because you go and say, I'm gonna pay someone, $20 an hour, right? That $20 an hour actually comes out to like $25 an hour after you factor in all of the behind the scenes costs of keeping someone hired, not just hiring them, but continuing to pay payroll tax, benefits, all this different type of stuff. And then of course, all the other expenses, because you need another truck, you need the commercial auto insurance on that truck, commercial auto insurance specifically on that employee as well, which is going to increase your costs. Like, there's so many costs that, again, when you're first starting out, you don't think about. And I don't blame you guys. Again, just like everything with my channel, I'm documenting just my experience, things that I learned. My very first sale, just to reiterate, my first thing that I ever sold was a $75 service that I drove 45 minutes to for rodent and pest control setup. $75. And it was a quick lesson. Let's just put it that way. Like, it literally got my gears going because I was like, this is unsustainable. If I have to drive this much for every stop, I'm not going to be making money at $75, obviously. So, there's a lot that goes into it. Like I said, I plan on actually doing a video where I'm actually screen sharing. I'm getting my office set up. You guys probably saw that in the recent live stream. I'm getting that set up. I need a new office chair because my other one is actually in my Plano office. So once I get that set up here, hopefully give or take within the next week, like I said, I'll be going back to kind of the traditional live setup that you guys are used to in the office. And like I said, cranking out some of those videos because, yeah, that's going to help you guys big time for sure. But let's get into some of these questions now that we've been going for 15 minutes or so. How's it going there, JVJ? And how's it going? Is that Senior Molgenier? Probably butchering that, but how's it going, you all? JVJ says, will you be making a video about the non-compete clause that the FTC has made illegal? I can address it real quick, and even, like you said, if I need to make a video on it, I might. I mean, if so, it'll probably be just kind of one of those quick little 5-minute hitter type of videos. At the end of the day, a lot of people are kind of overreacting in a way to that whole ruling. Pretty much all they're taking out is the fact that, like, you can't go work for a competitor, essentially. Like, that's pretty much it. They're taking out all the stuff that prevents you from being able to go out and make a living in the same industry because, it's flat out just unconstitutional, first of all, but also just trumps all of your just God-given rights to go earn a living at the end of the day. And they didn't, everyone says, like you said, that it's just flat out illegal. It's not that it's illegal. Like, technically speaking, if you go and say quit your job, for example, and then you go immediately and just, you took customer list from your previous employer and you just start knocking doors and just undercutting them by 20 bucks a service, that is still illegal. It's still illegal. So there are parts to it that are still legal, in place, totally enforceable. But a majority of it, yes, is completely gone, which, like I've said for the longest, I've had people ask about the non-compete for, gosh, since I started posting pest control business content on YouTube. And like I've always told you guys, a lot of you guys kind of overthink it. There's a lot of it that has always been flat out just unenforceable, especially if you hire a good attorney, they can fight it. But now they've just pretty much kind of clarified that, okay, yeah, these non-competes have gotten a little out of control. It's flat out illegal to even try to make someone sign it now because, like we said, it's already been non-enforceable, majority of it. But now the FTC just came out and said now it's pretty much illegal to even try to have you sign a document like that. So, it pretty much goes along with what I've been saying the whole time. There are still parts of it that, obviously are illegal because you're literally stealing, you know, um, oh, what would it be classified as? Would it be intellectual property, maybe? I forget. Like, I'm not a lawyer or anything. I know just enough to be dangerous, as I like to say. So, um, you know, like I said, I think it's been a little overblown, but yeah, I mean, it's gonna help a lot of people that, specifically people that are like in sales, where you're like a 1099 guy, maybe a door knocker, for example. I always say door knockers make great business owners because they learn a lot about the sales side. And regardless of how much you know about the industry, if you can't sell, you're not going to grow a business at the end of the day. You have to, when it comes to business, you have to learn the main three things: sales. Obviously, you need to be knowledgeable on what you're selling, right? But so knowledge, sales, marketing, delegation. You master those 3 to 4, if you want to count the obvious, knowledge of the business, those 3 to 4 things, your business will continue to grow exponentially. Yeah, so hopefully that kind of helps a little bit when it comes to the whole non-compete thing. By the way, oh, shouldn't have tried to speak so fast after drinking that drink. I just got notified. I don't know if any of you guys are on TikTok or anything, but they gave us access to TikTok Live. So I've been debating trying to like do a cross stream where we stream on YouTube and stream on TikTok at the same time. I don't know if a lot of you guys watch TikTok Live or anything like that. Let me know in the chat. I see we got like 8 to 10 of you, give or take, right now. If you watch any TikTok, like you like live streams on TikTok more than YouTube, let me know in the chat because we just got access to TikTok Live. So I'm looking at maybe, like I said, either cross streaming or doing like a TikTok specific occasionally. I don't know. Like I said, I just found that out yesterday, but I wanted to bring that up whenever we had at least a few people in here just to see if you all would be interested in some TikTok lives along with the YouTube lives as usual. But Senior Mulgener says, and again, sorry if I'm butchering that name. What's your thoughts on going from salary to hourly with the same rate of pay? I actually prefer, like, whenever you guys know that I hired a guy last year. We only kept him for like a month. It was a blessing in disguise. It didn't work out because we weren't quite to the point where it made sense to actually hire someone like we did. But whenever I, keep on hiring people, they're going to be hourly plus commission, meaning, you have your standard 18 an hour, 20 an hour, whatever you decide to pay them at. And then they're also going to get X amount, either bonuses or percentage of whatever they sell based on the amount of money that's actually collected at the time of the sell. So say I have a technician who goes out, he upsells someone on termite prevention, right? And let's just say he sells it for the first year, $750, just a random example. And he collects the full 750 right there at the time of the sell. Well, he's going to get 10% in that example of the $750. So he would get $75 added on to his next paycheck. Now, say he sells it where we do some kind of, you know, bundle deal, right? Like, let's say he upsells them to our preferred protection plan and converts them over for 129, and then 139 or whatever it comes out to per month going forward, and he only collects the 129, then he'll get $25. So how it works essentially is you either get 10% or $25, in terms of, because in that example 10% of 129 is only like 12 or $13. So if your minimum that you would get on the 10% is less than $25, then I'll give you $25. If your 10% is higher than 25, you'll get the 10%, if that makes sense. At least, again, that's like kind of my initial what I am going with. If it changes, again, like everything on this channel, I'll document it for you guys, let you guys know what kind of pivots we're making, all of that type of stuff. But that is kind of where I'm going with it. I think that it's going to be beneficial for us and the employees at the end of the day, because let's say $20 an hour, for example. That's what, 800 bucks a week. I was looking for my phone and I forgot I was streaming with it. Let me pull up my calculator here really quick. 800 bucks a week comes out to what, over 52 weeks? 800 times 52. And this is a full-time employee. It comes out to like just under 42,000 a year. But then again, like we said, let's say they get, we'll just say a couple sales a month. Because I know me as a technician, I wasn't selling left and right. I mean, I might have got a couple sales. I did right out of the gate, but it always slows down, right? Once you get that low-hanging fruit out of the way. So let's just say they sell an average of like 2 sales a month at an average of, we'll just say like $35 additional per sale. So that's going to be an extra $70 a month for them times 12 months. That's another roughly 840. We'll just say 900 bucks. So that puts them over so $900 extra a year for them. And again, that's kind of the minimum. We're only factoring in 2 sales at an average commission rate of $35. Like we said, say they upsell something, say they sell an exclusion, right? And the exclusion service comes out to $2,000 and they get 10% of that, that's $200, right? So, there's a lot of potential there. They can take it as far as they wish, but I always like to do minimal math. That way, you always think about like what's the lowest amount they're going to make, if that makes sense. So that's kind of, where we're going with pay. Just to give you guys an idea, if we hire someone who has 0 experience, one, I prefer that because you actually train them to do it your way versus them coming from somewhere else. And sure, they may know a lot about the industry, but that's a double-edged sword because they may know a lot of wrong things that you may have to, constantly try to beat out of them. So, I prefer someone that has like no experience whatsoever. Sure, it takes a little longer to train, but if I can tell they're willing to learn, they have interest, they want to maximize the amount they can make, it can be a really, really good fit. But with that, when I'm hiring someone that has no experience whatsoever, at the very beginning, right now, I'm looking at probably $18 an hour during that initial like hiring stage, if that makes sense, like the training, because training's probably going to be 60 to 90 days total. And then what we'll probably do is like a 90-day review or maybe a 180-day review, something like that. And depending based on different KPIs, if they're hitting, firing on all cylinders, give them a raise that is, what I would consider a quote unquote, like we said, living wage. And then also, in line with how they're helping us as a company as well. If they're not hitting those KPIs, we're gonna keep them where they're at, and either A, we can help you get there, or B, if you're someone that's just kind of, like we said, one of those employees that's just showing up and, just a body, then, as long as they're getting the work done, whatever. But if, they don't seem to be a cultural fit, then, perks of being an at-will hire, we'll document some things and, just say, hey, let's let's just agree that we're not a good fit for each other and wish you the best and, move on. But, and that's a whole nother thing is hiring. Each time we hire, you're more than likely not going to hire at full capacity, meaning you don't want to wait until you have a completely stacked route before you hire somebody. You shouldn't be doing a route of, 24, 25,000 a month before you hire somebody. You're probably going to hire somebody whenever you're still doing, anywhere between probably 13, 14 minimum, upwards of 17 to 20,000 a month. And they're probably not going to have full-time hours early on. So again, it's a combination of what you feel like you're able to pay them, what you feel they will actually be grateful for as well, because that's the thing is, if you don't feel comfortable, morally correct with how you're paying them, and you know that they don't feel comfortable with that number of hours, the pay, whatever the case may be, it's just a disaster waiting to happen. So, that is where being brutally honest in your job description, if you're going on things like Indeed, ZipRecruiter, whatever the case may be, being totally upfront, not overselling the position. That is where a lot of people just get, not just in our industry, but all industries, just get bombarded with bad reviews as an employers because they will say, prime example, Big T used to say on their things a couple of years ago, for their sales position, like I think it said like 95,000 plus. And obviously, as a salesman, you can make 95,000 plus, but what they don't tell you is most of them are making about 35 to 45,000. So obviously, there were disgruntled employees with that. So you just need to be brutally honest, not just downplay your position, but just be honest about what to expect. Hey, this is a growing role. This is going to start out part-time, 30 hours, 20 hours, whatever amount of hours you think per week. Growing role. If you're someone that's looking for a growing role, this is a job for whatever, however you want to phrase it, wherever you're at when you're hiring someone. The main thing is just be honest with them. And yeah, that's, like I said, that'll be a great couple videos for you guys to document as well once we go through that process again, because I learned a lot through that process when it comes to hiring, payroll tax, all that type of stuff. It's a big learning curve that not a lot of people talk about online. Everyone talks about like, oh, you need to be able to manage people. You need to be able to do this, but no one talks about, hey, you are going to pay this amount in payroll taxes. You're going to pay this amount in workers' comp insurance. You're going to pay, like, no one talks about the behind the scenes money that goes out just to hire an employee. The math that I did here in Texas, and again, that will vary state to state based on different taxes and this and that. Just in my state, to hire an employee the right way, and this doesn't include 401k costs, dental insurance, health insurance. This is like bare bones, 10 days off a year, very little benefits. It costs $4.51 an hour just to cover the behind the scenes costs of hiring someone at $18 an hour at 30 hours a week. So that 18 an hour is $22.51 by the time all said and done. So there's a lot that, like I said, I'll be documenting all that for you guys. I think it'll help you guys big time, and it'll put in perspective what we were talking about at the beginning of the stream about why it's so important to do not do this when it comes to starting your pest control company. What is this? Do not underprice your services. Specifically, the continual services. Your intro offer, like we always talk about, nothing is wrong with a good, strong lead magnet. When you get someone on the phone and you tell them, yes, we can come out, we can get you started for $99, right? Good. That's usually kind of the average number, right? We can come out and get you started for $99. And then going forward, you'll be paying $39 a month, whatever your number is, that is reasonable to cover all the costs, right? That's about $120 a quarter for an average house. That's not bad whatsoever. Again, plus or minus $5 or $10, probably depending on where you're from. But you don't want to be the guy that's like, okay, well, I'm going to charge you $59 for your initial service, and we're going to come out for $59 a quarter. That is how you will either A, run a business full of pissed off, never ending, never ending rotating door of just employees coming in, going out, coming in, going out, coming in, going out over and over, because you're not going to be able to afford to pay them shit. You're probably going to pay them $10 to $14 an hour, and they'll just be continuously coming in, going out, like we said. And you're going to have the worst customers on earth, because we all know that the cheapest customers are always the worst customers. Very rarely is a customer that's looking for the cheapest company actually a good customer. Don't get me wrong, I have had customers that I've helped out a little bit more than I would help other people, because I can tell they're widowed, they're on a super fixed income, social security only, and you just want to help them out, right? There's nothing wrong with helping people out. But you can get that sense on a phone call, I would say within 90 seconds or less. If you're good at this, less than 90 seconds. I can always tell within about 30 seconds or less where the call is headed. If it's someone that is just notoriously cheap, they want to get the most out of you for the cheapest price, or if there's someone that is understanding, all they care about is how quick. The best ones, by the way, just a little nugget for you guys, that'll help you big time. As soon as someone just asks how soon you can come out before they even ask about the price, close the deal. They're going to be the easiest customer to work with, assuming you solve their problem. If you don't solve their problem, it's a quick way to get bad reviews, bad word of mouth. Take care of those people, because those people will take care of you. But if the moment you answer the phone, they start off the conversation with, "Hey, I'm just calling around," probably not going to be the customer. As soon as they mention their pricing around, calling around, things of that nature, there's a solid 70, 80%, maybe even 90% chance that that customer is looking for the cheapest company. There's nothing wrong with people quoting around just to make sure they're not going to get screwed. But if you get about, I would say, this is why I said 90 seconds, because if you get about a minute to 2 minutes into your pitch, and you can tell that they're kind of downplaying it, and or trying to add more on top of it, like, "Oh, do you also do this, do you also do that?" That means they're trying to literally kind of, how do I describe it, they're just trying to get more than what they're paying for. They'll say, "Oh, I'm just trying to make sure I'm getting what I'm paying for." No, you're trying to get more than what you're paying for. So again, a lot of this just comes with repetition, call after call after call, especially in times like now where we're dealing with kind of a sluggish economy, and people are really pulling back on their spending and things of that nature. These are the times where you really grow as a closer, as a salesman, as a business owner, really, because you start to develop that muscle of realizing that not every customer is for you. Like I was talking about, 10, 15 minutes ago. Um, you know, kind of went off on a tangent there with that, but yeah, do not, like I said, going back to our original point of the stream, do not undercut your services. Again, separate from the intro offer. Intro offer can be as low as you want within reason. Obviously, you need to make money on it, but do not lower your overall price. Don't think, "Oh man, I need, everyone's pushing back on price. Maybe I need to, do a $79 offer and drop my monthly rate $10 a month." No, do not do that. You're going to hurt yourself, the business, and your future employees more than anything by doing that. And like we said, get more customers that just you don't want at the end of the day. As crazy as it sounds, you do not want every customer. I can promise you from firsthand experience. I tell my wife all the time how I have not gotten a single bad review on our Google business profile, like the Google page, beyond me. I was like, because I've had my fair share where I tell them outright, I'm like, "I will cancel you if you want. I do not need your business. I'm not going to do more than what I'm obligated to do for you. I'm trying to work with you, but if you don't like how we're doing it, then I will cancel the service for you. It's not a problem." Doesn't happen very often, but it's funny enough, it just happened this weekend. Sometimes people, like we said, they want to get more than what they're actually paying for, and you can't. You have to cut that out as quick as possible. I think we had another comment come in here from Mike Williams. How's it going, sir? Um, Hey Griffin, thanks for your videos. They helped me decide to open my own pest control company. I decided in October, started April 1st. Oh man, that's awesome. So you are fresh. You're not even 2 months in yet. That's cool though. Yeah, I mean you acted pretty quickly. You decided in October. So what? Between October and April is what? November, December, January, February. Within like 4 to 5 months, you decided that you were going to do it and you actually took the action and did it like that. Hey, that's 100 times quicker than most people, including yours truly. I was in the industry, what, 3 years, I think, before I finally decided to. I mean, I knew the whole time whenever I first got into the industry, I knew I was like, I'm going to start a pest control business. It was just a matter of when for me. Like I said, whenever we had our first daughter, unexpectedly, expectedly, obviously, you F around, you find out eventually, playing those kind of games, right? But, it kind of pushed everything back for me by a year or two. If it hadn't been for me getting, I would say laid off. I don't know if you want to call it laid off technically. I mean, it was during COVID, so I mean, it wasn't classified as a layoff, but I mean, I wasn't the only one that lost my job, so they can call it what they wish. I mean, but point being, when I lost my job, we'll say back in 2020, that was my sign. I was like, dude, you're 4 days from being certified, assuming you pass the test. This is a sign. This is a sign from God. Go all in. Like, go in. And yeah, I mean, it's been a hell of a journey. I'm sure it's going to continue to be a hell of a journey for the next 1 to 2 decades, if not more, depending on how long I decide to stay in this. But yeah, I always love to hear from you guys that actually go out here and act on the information, because that's one thing that the internet has caused, is a lot of what I like to call paralysis, or was it analysis paralysis, where you absorb, but you never act on it. Like, even me, I will know, okay, I have this issue. I need to go find the information. And then I'll go find the information from this guy. Then I go find the information from this guy. And then I'm sitting here, and next thing I know, I'm like, well, this guy said do this. Then this guy said do that. Well, his information's like 2 years old. His information's like 6 months old. So maybe his might be better because it's more updated. And you just start, like I said, just getting analysis paralysis, where nothing beats just going and doing shit. Even if you do shit wrong, you're gonna learn more from doing it wrong than by just continuing to take information in. And in all honesty, you usually learn more by doing it wrong than you learn from doing it right the first time, as crazy as that may sound. So yeah, no, it's cool to hear that, man. I mean, literally within 5 months, you made the decision and then you acted on it. Let's see. How's it going there, Bino? I forget your actual name. I know you said that last time. You were like, I don't know why it's showing Bino. um, what was your termite background like with working with Terminex? Did you learn stuff on your own? So no, that's actually a good question. Very good question. So a lot of companies like Terminex, oh man, my neck is stiff. Kits, that's right. When you're at a lot of companies, specifically like Terminex, where when you're, say, a pest technician, right? When you're a pest technician, you're a pest technician. You're not learning exclusion. You're not learning termite. Sure, they will have you go with those guys for like a week or whatever, just to kind of have some background knowledge. That way makes it easier for you to turn in leads and things of that nature. By the way, I see we got like 10 of you in here. If you're enjoying the stream, do me a favor and smash that thumbs up button. It lets me know you guys appreciate the content, and it'll help YouTube, send it out to more people. Always love and appreciate you guys for that. But yeah, when you're at Terminex, for example, I can only speak to them because they're the main one that I got all my experience with. You're just kind of in your own lane. Like, you don't really have the opportunity to learn other things. So whenever I came out here and started my own, I had to learn it all like firsthand. Like, I went and, searched on YouTube, different YouTube videos. I read the books. The books, I will say, had a lot of good information when it came to termite treatments. which is rare for textbooks in terms of like, state books or whatever. Our termite book had a lot of good information on termite treatments in there. And then, of course, the label. Nothing beats the information on the label. At the end of the day, it'll walk you through step by step, like, do this here, do this here, do that there. And yeah, a combination of that. And then I also paid one of my buddies who also used to work at Terminex and started his company like 3 or 4 years before me. Shout out to Top Flight Pest Control. My buddy owns that company. I paid him like $100 or $200 on my first termite job ever just to come out with me and just kind of walk me through it essentially. Because of course, you can't beat. I will pay someone more than enough money to learn firsthand because that just speeds up that knowledge curve 10x. Because literally at that one job, he showed me, yeah, on this patio back here, this is a real nice patio. There's no sorts of activity here. I wouldn't drill here. You can leave it up to them, still warranty. Like, he let me in on so much game that like I would have not known without, him being there. So that alone took me, after that, every other termite job was on me, if that makes sense. So, yeah, if you do have someone in your back pocket like that, definitely use them, pay them, do whatever you need to do because it will just speed up that curve that much more. But don't get me wrong, there are plenty of videos, there's plenty of books, like there's plenty of knowledge out there to get it done, if that makes sense. Like, I was just having this conversation with my brother because he is starting his pest control business in the Midwest too now, or in the process of starting it. Sorry about that. Get this muted here. Just a spam call anyways. That's one other thing. When you start your business, the spam calls through the freaking roof. Where was I? Oh yeah, he was just like, man, I'm real worried about that for a termite job, blah blah blah. And he has my cousin up there too, who has his own business close by. So I was like, dude, just pay Eric, my cousin. I was like, just pay him, $100-200, come along with you one day and show you the ropes. Like, it's not that difficult. You just need help because again, he was at Terminex too, pest technician, no experience with termite work. So like I said, if you have someone in your back pocket, that will help you 10x, but you can definitely learn more than enough information just by continuing to study and then just go out there and do the work and be upfront. Like, if you don't have someone in your back pocket, be upfront with your first customer that, hey, just being blunt with you, I am using the best chemicals, I'm using the best this, that, the other, but you are my first liquid termite treatment. So I'm going to charge you a lot less than I would most people just because I want to make sure that I'm doing right by you. And that way, if I do need to come back, one, you're warranted on it, but two, I'm taking it as tuition for me learning essentially. So, that may come off to a customer potentially as putting off, but again, you have to know your role in this ecosystem. When you're just a little minnow getting started, you're probably going to miss out on some of the bigger work early on. It's just paying tuition to the game. Like I tell people, there's tuition in college, there's tuition in business too. It's called mistakes, it's called learning. Like, I mean, you pay tuition to the game regardless. So hopefully that kind of helps. I would even say that I'll post termite videos, but I'm not. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. Like, that is one area that, like, when I get to a termite job, I just bust ass and get out of there because it's so humid down here in Texas that with trenching and everything, like, I'm just trying to get them done as quick as possible and get on out of there. Like, I had one I just did yesterday and I got to it at like 7:45 a.m. That way, like, I could just get it done, and it was still so humid already yesterday at 7:45. I was drenched in sweat. But yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of good information out there on it. David Harrison said, thanks for the videos. Yeah, no problem. How did you get your additional pest control after leaving your previous company? I don't quite understand the phrasing of the question. Let me reread it again. How did you get your additional pest control after leaving your previous company? I don't know how to address like I said, I'm kind of confused on how this is worded. So are you meaning like how did I get my licensing after leaving Terminex? Because the beauty of it was I was getting my certified applicator license that same week. So what we did is we just transferred it over to my business, if that makes sense. Um, like I said, it's kind of worded weird, hard to understand. How did you get your additional pest control after leaving your previous company? Yeah, I mean, I think I might have answered your question right, but let me know. Let me know if there's another way you can word that, or if you meant something else by it. How's it going, Salvador? Hope everyone's doing well. Yeah, May has been another one. It slowed down the last few days, but today it picked back up a little bit, so hopefully that'll continue. By the way, quick little Google Business Profile update. Our location in Plano is verified because you guys know that I just moved recently, and I was definitely not putting my location out here because it's a lot more rural out here. Moved back to my original office in Plano that we had there for a year back in like what, 2022? Yeah, 2022. Same office and everything, ironically. Moved our location, finally got that verified, and man, like the calls that we're getting are like, I'm liking it because our reach, for whatever reason, is a lot more wider. I just got a call today from a city called Richardson, Texas, which is, like 10 miles to the south of our location. I had a call, like I mentioned yesterday, from Allen, Texas, which is pretty close. It's like 3 miles to the north. We also had a call yesterday from the Garland Richardson area north, if you know the Dallas Fort Worth area, right along President George Bush Highway, where 044 and 082 area codes meet up, which again is about 8 to 10 miles southeast of where our location is. So our reach is like much broader. Like we're getting way broader calls than where our Rowlett location. And Rowlett, we were getting Rowlett, Rowlett, a little bit of Rockwall, occasionally a Saxy call, maybe a Wiley. Just it was a very, very tight. And I'm actually pleasantly, like I said, surprised by the fact that our reach is so much more broad. I don't know if it's just because, again, the population is so much more dense that people are more willing to kind of scroll through the results or what. But man, we are off to a great start with that location. I am thrilled. And like I said, we're in the infancy stage still of that location. Obviously, it's still an established location, but in terms of that location, we are still in our infancy. So I'll definitely keep you guys posted on like the rankings. Like I said, we'll do a lot more screen sharing videos and all that stuff here in the near future. But that just, when Salvador brought up how everyone's May is going, that just reminded me because we just got it approved here in May. Let's see. Light novel. Did you see the flea question I asked in Discord? Oh, was that the one from right before I went live? If so, I believe so. Where you were talking about, do you cover? I think you're like asking, do you cover fleas and ticks and things like that in your general pest control? If so, assuming that's the question, man, assuming that's your question, let me know if it's not. But no, we do not. So we have general pest control for, this is how I describe it to people for like selling. Imagine we're on the phone. So, starting out, we have our basic general pest control plan that's going to cover the most basic pests, ants. Again, how's it sound here? I'm downplaying it, right? Because I'm trying to sell them on our home run preferred protection plan where it covers everything: termites, pests, rodents, fire ants, full 9 yards. I say, we can get you started with our most general, basic, standard general pest control plan, which by the way does cover 15 plus different general pests like ants, roaches, carpenter ants, by the way, spiders, all that good stuff. Is designed to keep them out of your home. This doesn't mean that you're never going to see them outside or anything like that. It's designed to keep them out of your home. And then I go into pricing and all that, which, that's our, like I said, basic one. Usually starts out as low as about 100 to 120 bucks, and then 35 to, 65 a month, depending on property size and all that. um, for the quarterly service. And then when it comes to fleas and ticks, which, like I said, I believe you brought up fleas and ticks in that question on Discord. Again, let me know if I'm wrong. Fleas and ticks are covered under our mosquito, tick, and flea program. We call it the Stop the Bites program, which covers, again, mosquito, ticks, and fleas. And that is a whole separate service. Usually, and again, this is kind of like how a sales call would go. We'd be like, usually, once people are kind of interested in two services like that, we usually suggest for budgeting purposes just to go ahead and sign up for our preferred protection plan. That covers everything that we've already talked about. Our general pest control plan, which is usually, let's just say in this example, $39 a month for the quarterly service. The mosquito, tick, and flea stop the bites plan is 7 times throughout the year, sometimes 8 if we're abnormally warm in terms of the season, like longer, if it's a longer season than usual. That's normally going to be around $139 a month on average. So during the spring and summer months, you're already looking at around $178, Mrs. Jones, Mr. Jones, whatever. Or you can sign up for our preferred protection plan, which just bundles everything up for you, the two services that we already discussed here today, as well as our termite control program, our rodent control program with rodent monitoring stations for mice and rats specifically, as well as fire ant prevention. So if you get any fire ants, we'll come out and take care of them. We have a good product we use called Top Choice, which will prevent them for a full year. Again, just going into whole pitch mode, essentially, detailing all these different services you're getting in this bundle package, which we can get you started out, Mrs. Jones, at $199 plus tax, and you'll just pay $175, $125, whatever price you think is reasonable for that house. Usually in that case, we try to get the house pulled up on Google Earth. Just from my experience, it can definitely cost you a little bit of money if you don't pull that house up on Google Earth, because it may be a 2,500 square foot house, but you get out there and it's one of those stretched out 2,500 square foot houses. With that, you have to use more termite stations, bigger property, more mosquito spraying involved, all that stuff. So obviously, price it accordingly. But what sounds better? During the summer months, you're going to be paying close to $200 a month, or you can just pay $160 a month over 12 months. You're getting everything you wanted, plus you're getting fire ant control, rodent control, termite control, all this other stuff. So I just gave you all some free game there on how we sell our best selling, by the way. That service is one of our main sellers, especially whenever we're talking about qualifying customers. Once we can tell that there's somebody who is more so money's not the issue, they just want to see how quick you can get out there. Those are the ones we usually swing for the fence and try to go ahead and get them on everything. And you're not, that's the other thing, is you're not being unethical with that. Like, you're not pitching them on something they don't need. That's the beauty of like our services is, everyone needs these type of services. Now, don't get me wrong, like, you don't need to go out and pitch exclusion and this and that if they don't need it. But down here in Texas, fire ants are a problem pretty much at least 8 months out of the year. So to have 1 year protection on that, you need that. Mosquitoes, obviously big problem virtually all year round, but at least 6 to 9 months out of the year. General pests, obviously a problem all year round. Rodents, problem all year round with continual developments going up left and right. Like, everything is like stuff that people need. So as long as you get a good bundle package where how I word it to people is, you're essentially getting your mosquito service for free with this bundle. Every year you're getting the mosquito for free. They're getting a service for free, but you're still making money at the end of the day, and you're growing your top line exponentially quicker than you would selling $35 a month here, $45 a month there, $79 a month here. Like, when you can sell 180 a month, 130 a month, 195 a month, 150 a month, like left and right, your top line's growing exponentially. And then obviously, like I said, if you're pricing it right, your bottom line's growing much quicker as well on top of that. So, but like I said, I say it's our best selling, but they come in batches, I've noticed. It's usually the busy season, April through June. That's when we tend to sell the most of those. But yeah, just to sum up the answer to your original question, no, fleas are totally different. Matter of fact, for the most part, unless if they're on that preferred protection plan, it's not covered at all. Like, I just had someone in Richardson, Texas call us up that we're going to go do a flea targeted treatment for tomorrow, and it's just a flea treatment. It's not anything. It's not even close to a general pest. We can't general pest control for us. If we can't, like I explained it to people, I just explained this to a customer over the weekend about German roaches. I was like, German roaches aren't covered on general pest control. Oh, well, why not? One, your service agreement shows that they're not covered, but two, we can't prevent them. They're an imported pest. They don't come in from, your weep holes or something. Like, they're a little imported pest that had to come in with something that you brought into the house. So it's not something that we can prevent. If we can't prevent it in the first place, then why would we cover it? Same thing with fleas. You can't prevent fleas really from, jumping in the yard, right? Like, if a rodent runs through the yard with fleas, you're gonna have fleas in the yard. So that's ultimately why we don't cover that in that general pest control plan. But like we said, if they're going to sign up for that preferred protection plan that we offer that covers everything, then absolutely we're going to go ahead and cover that, even though it's, like we said, technically not prevented. And that's the other thing. You got to be good with your wording, because you don't want to lie to them. Don't make them think you're preventing the fleas. You're just saying that you're covered. It's warranty, meaning you're not going to upcharge them for the fleas. It's covered already, if that makes sense. So, yeah, hopefully, like I said, hopefully you guys have been enjoying the stream so far. Do me a favor, smash the thumbs up button. I see we got over 20 of you in here right now, but only one like. So if you guys have been appreciating it and getting some free games so far from it, just do me a favor, smash the thumbs up button. It helps other people see and find the channel, find the content that we put out here for you guys. I don't charge for any of it, of course. Just like I said, just documenting my overall journey for you guys. Let's see what else. Oh, David Harrison said, I meant pest control licenses. Let me see. Let me go back to your original question. How did you get additional pest control licenses after leaving your previous company? I mean, I guess I kind of did answer it then. So, like I said, when I got fired, we'll call it, I had 4 days until I was passing the certified applicators exam. So immediately, because your license will remain active, I think it's like for 30 days. It may vary state to state, but in Texas, I believe it's like 30 days or something, that they have to like report it. And Terminix is notoriously slow about reporting stuff like that. So I knew either way that I was going to be set from that side of things. And I'd already applied to take the test while I was employed at Terminix. So there wasn't like no need to show proof of working for them still, because I did that at the time of signing up for my test. And then once I passed the test, I notified them immediately that, hey, I said quit, because it doesn't really matter to them either way. I actually just quit Terminix because I assumed that I was going to pass these tests. I bet on myself, and I'm actually starting my own company. What do I need to do to transfer the license over? And then, man, I forget what I had to fill out. I had to fill out some form on the TDA website. Actually, I had to print it out and then send it in to them that, I was essentially starting my business, if that makes sense. And yeah, that's how that worked. So hopefully that answered your question. If not, let me know. Light novel. We have a company here. We have a company here where I'm claiming their general pest spray deters rodent. Yeah, no, you're gonna get that, and that's just where, if you get a potential client who mentions that, just call it out. Just say, I'm not trying to dog on that company, but whoever told you that was just trying to get a sell, because there is absolutely no spray whatsoever that's gonna deter rodents. I get customers every year from those companies that try to go out there and upsell on just ridiculous amounts of BS. That's not true. And yeah, it's more money for us generally, because when you tell them, no, you actually don't need that, and we're actually going to save you money, because we're not selling you on snake oil, then, most people will appreciate that truthfulness. Salvador says we've had a great May too. Phones are picking up. I think we're on pace to beat our previous largest recurring sales month. That's crazy. But we did send out mailers to clients to add ML Mosquito to their plan. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Let us know too if you're still watching, Salvador, if you're running any type of intro offers or anything, because I know it seems to be kind of nationwide with the economy kind of being in the quote unquote shitter at the moment, that I've noticed we've had to get kind of creative with our offers, like our intro offers and things like that. So I'm interested to hear, since it sounds like you may be beating your record for like new added recurring sales this month. Are you running any type of specific intro offers or anything like that? I specifically put wandering roaches on my service agreement. What do you mean by wandering roaches? Does that mean like you cover German roaches? Let's see. JVJ says good lawyers a given. Got a non-compete letter in the mail after I opened. That's hilarious. I can tell what company you worked for. Let me guess. It starts with an A and ends with a BC. Because if I remember right, JVJ, you're from the Dallas area, so I wouldn't be surprised if old ABC. If I remember right, actually, that I think you said that before. Is who you worked for. So maybe it was in my subconscious. Who knows? But I got a feeling that if they sent that out that quick. Lawyer asked for it and no signature was on it. That's hilarious. But not mine. Yeah, see, like I said, a lot of it is just they want to intimidate you, is all it is. So I never worry about it. Like I said, as long as you're not going out there knocking on all of their customers' doors and, where they can show substantial evidence that you're literally stealing, like we said, what would it be called? Intellectual property or whatever the case may be, pretty much stealing customer list and going and knocking on doors. They don't have a case whatsoever, especially with, like we said, all those laws being put into place about non-competes. King Man said, "Will this be available after?" It should be. I know once we get up over an hour on these live streams, sometimes it takes a few hours, even a full day in some cases, for it to go from like a live to what do they call it, like VOD, like video on demand or whatever. Pretty much video format on YouTube. But yes, it should be available after it goes live, which, by the way, I brought this up towards the beginning of the stream. We are now able to go live on TikTok as well. I just got notified about that yesterday, which is weird because I don't have 1,000 followers over there yet. I think we got like 750 to 800, something like that. So if you're not following on TikTok, link is in my LinkTree to follow me on TikTok, because I'm debating going ahead and start doing like some cross-platform, like go live on TikTok and YouTube at the same time. Maybe pull up the iPad or something and have that going live as well. I don't know if some of you guys prefer TikTok live over YouTube or YouTube over TikTok. I'll probably post a poll on either Facebook or YouTube or something like that to see what you guys think. But yes, it should be available after it goes from a live to a video. Do you get clients from the decals on your truck or primarily? Oh, it's 100%, not 100, but at least 60% of all of our calls come from our Google business profile. Our website SEO, I've noticed all of a sudden, knock on wood, our website visibility has been starting to increase as of late. I'll probably post an update video about that in the near future. I just pumped out another very short, like 300-word article just to, again, link it under our Plano, Texas page, just to give that more, like we talk about with silo structure. Just trying to pump out articles when we can. Obviously, we all know SEO is a very long-term game. Ironically, we're like at 1 year to the day since I started managing the website on my own. And what do the SEO guys tell you? It takes usually up to 12 months to really start noticing the results coming in. So kind of the irony in the fact that, okay, we're starting to notice a little bit of traction with the website all of a sudden after a whole year. like I said, knock on wood, hopefully it's not just fool's gold or anything, but the website traffic has been increasing, but most of it is definitely the Google Business Profile. I mean, we get dozens, at this point in the year, dozens of calls a week from, maybe not dozens, but at least a dozen, 2 to 5 calls a day on average from our Google Business Profile, a little bit sprinkled in there from the website, and then referrals, things like that. From the decals on our truck, that's kind of a once a blue moon thing. Somebody will see us in the Home Depot parking lot. In all honesty, I get more hits on the website from the decals than our actual like phone ringing from the decals, ironically. But yeah, hopefully that answers that question. Yeah, since we have low cancellation rates, we tend to give away the form $89 initial for general pest control and no cancel fees. However, if we get a bad feeling about someone, we up the price and don't mention. I feel you there. I'm interested on the $89 initial. Tell me what you might. I see you have another comment down there I'll get to in a second. The $89 initial, is there a certain square footage on a home that goes up to? Like, is that any square footage? Or, because I know you're in Cali, I'm in Texas, we both tend to deal with some pretty big mansions from time to time. Is that 89 kind of across the board? Or you, like me, do you get the square footage of the home first? That way you can kind of, okay, let me feel out kind of what this home is in terms of the, because obviously 89, that's a pretty good mark, I feel like, but definitely interested to know how that is. I used to exclusively service this rich gated community where they have actual security guards at the gates checking your info, make sure you are meant to be there. Yeah, I have one neighborhood like that as well. Thinking of a way to get in there. 90% sure I'll be able to convert all my old company clients to my own. Easiest way to do that would be either A, mailers, B, going to Google Ads and literally put a dot, a little radius thing right over the neighborhood and target it. And then another one would be Facebook ads, do the same thing, zoom right in on that neighborhood, target like a 1 mile radius over that neighborhood, and just hit ads over and over and over. It'd be very cheap too because you're looking at targeting just that neighborhood. You're not targeting a whole area or anything like that. So that's one way that you could look at doing that too. The no cancellation fees, mosquito mailer for current customers was free first treatment when you sign up for a year. Sent out 1,200 to 1,300 of them, and I think I got 10 or so. Some are still trickling in. That's good to know. That's good to know. Thanks for the info. Yeah, no problem. We don't usually ask for square foot, but we know it's a huge community. We'll bump it in. Most of our homes are not huge, and when they are often 2-story, so super fast to service. Don't web second story. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's interesting. A lot of times I won't either. Like, my pole will reach up that high, but the only way I'm hitting that second flight is if I see, some monster wasp nest or something like that. If I just see, stuff that's like so minor that like only I can really see it because I look for all the details like that. Man, when it's 100 degrees, I'm not hitting that mofo. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Like, if it's not a threat to you, the client, I'm not hitting it. Like, it just is what it is. I used to, for the longest, I used to do that, but anymore, I'm like, dude, nah. But yeah, no, that's good info to know. Let me check my notifications really quick. If it says like stream is paused, I'm just checking to see if my wife is almost home. Give me just a second. Cool. So nothing so far. Cool. Because I'm in the living room and I know once they get here, my dogs will be barking like crazy. Let's see. So no comments so far. Yeah, if you all have any other questions or anything, we probably will start wrapping up soon. But if you have any last minute questions or anything, just let me know. Just to reiterate, the entire point of like the topic of the video, of the stream, that is, the whole, if you're starting a pest control company, don't do this. If you're wondering like, well, what is this? Not pricing your services correctly. I cannot stress it enough. Do not factor in just your pricing for today. Factor in your pricing 5 years from now when you have employees, when costs have gone up another 20% with how inflation's going. Because a lot of us talk about in these pest control groups, oh man, like I don't want to raise prices every year, I don't want to do this, like you're so worried about losing a customer to raising your prices. Well, the only way you're going to be able to avoid, or not even avoid, but push off the inevitable of raising prices is by pricing your services right to begin with. If you price your services too cheap on the recurring basis, that is, if you price them too cheap, you're going to have to raise prices virtually within a year. I've had customers where I've had to raise them after a year. And don't get me wrong, this is totally different than raising prices on a troubled customer after a year. We're talking the fact that you literally just did not price it right. You go out there and you're just immediately like, oh my God, I priced this so cheap. Like it's going to be an hour every time we're out here. They're paying $80 a quarter. Like this is bad, right? Price it accordingly. I can't stress it enough. Otherwise, you're going to have to raise prices. So you have to decide, like we said, one, what type of company are you going to be? Your quote unquote mission statement. What are you going to be as a company? Are you going to be a one-man show where you're just trying to make your 50 to 100,000 a year, 150, whatever the case may be, and move on? Or are you going to be a company that is super cheap, that hires people for $10 to $15 an hour, where you have a constant rotating door of bad employee after bad employee after bad employee? Or are you going to be a company that wants to grow, steadily over the years, be able to pay your employees a quote unquote living wage? As much as I hate that term, there is some truth behind it. Obviously, there's truth behind it, but it's been so overblown. My God, people thinking that they should make $50 an hour for mowing grass anymore. Like, I mean, just stuff that it's like, dude, like the skill has to, like, it's a whole topic, right? But if you want to be one of these companies, like I'm sure a lot of you do want to be, where you want to grow it to either one day be able to sell it, or hand it off, or whatever the case may be, maybe hold it as part of your retirement, just collect your dividend once every quarter, whatever the case may be, you're going to have to price your services right. So, like I said, if you're looking to start a pest control business, start a pest control company, I can't stress enough, do not price your services too cheap. If you price them too cheap, one, like we said, you'll attract customers you don't want. Two, you probably won't be in business very long. Three, you're probably going to get a lot of bad reviews, which in turn will cause you to not get business. It just is what it is at the end of the day. When I was just starting, I was afraid 45 a month wasn't going to give me customers. Now I sell at 70 a month, but sometimes I feel bad about 70 a month where I can compete with the big threes. And when you say 70 a month, are you talking for monthly service too, by the way, or is that for quarterly service? Because yeah, 70 a month on quarterly, that's a little rich. I ain't gonna lie. But again, that also depends on your area. I have customers who are paying me $200 a month, but we're talking pretty big houses that they're usually signed up for multiple services. So yeah, that's a monthly. So yeah, $70 a month is not bad. I mean, my going monthly rate anymore is minimum 80. 79 plus tax is my minimum monthly. I just signed one up. For some reason, she only likes to run her service from usually around April, May through September. She'll pay for the whole season up front, and that's it. She's done with it. I charged her, what's equivalent to like 90 a month. I think it came out to like 540 plus tax for 5 months. Something like that, maybe a little bit more. I forget. It was like 90 to 95 a month. That was for like a 2,500 to 3,000 square foot home. because again, like you got to consider there's a couple things to consider on both sides. One, you need to think how much is a quarterly service going to make you in terms of profit. But you also have to consider that with the monthly services, there's virtually no callbacks because you're literally out there every 3 to 5 weeks, right? So, you know, monthly is definitely going to be cheaper in terms of the price per service, but you're obviously making a lot more. It evens out essentially is what I'm saying. So yeah, monthly is kind of a totally different ball game. I prefer quarterly is the most just because it's the most scalable. It's the most you can make the most money in terms of paying technicians. Um, because on a let's say you're charging $100 a month or 75, we'll say $75 a month, so you're able to do, we'll just say 15 clients a day, which is, depending on your route density, that's going to be pushing it. That's a very busy day. We prefer to stay around 10 stops a day, just to put in perspective. But let's say you're pushing it to 15. 15 stops a day at $75 a day is what, 750? Just over like 1,100 roughly, 1,000 to 1,100 a day, right? Where a quarterly route, where let's say your average quarterly rate is, we'll just say 120 bucks, nothing crazy, just 120 bucks, $40 a month. So let's say you do 15 quarterly accounts now. So at 10, you're at 1,200, another five, you're talking another six, so you're at $1,800 a day now. So you're making an additional 700 plus a day on the quarterly route. Now, obviously, you have to price in some callbacks with that. But again, if your route density is on point, the callbacks don't really cost you a whole heck of a lot. So, do you see the gist of where I'm going with that? I mean, if you're making an extra $700 a day, hell, even $500 a day, 22 days out of the month, that is a substantial amount of money. Which is why, like we said, we try to aim for quarterly, but we do got a healthy mix of monthlies, bi-monthlies, all that type of stuff in there too. So it's just a situation by situation basis. So yeah, if there's no more questions or anything, I guess we'll probably look at start wrapping the stream up. I hope you guys did appreciate it as always. If you did, do me a favor, smash the thumbs up button. It lets me know that you guys like the live streams and that you appreciate all the free game that we give you guys on here. And by the way, of course, if there's any links or anything like that you're interested in terms of if you need a CRM platform or if you want to get in touch with us on our Discord group chat or Facebook group, they're free to join. All links for anything like that are in our description box down below, specifically in my LinkTree, that is. In there, like we said, we have links for pretty much everything, our Facebook, our Discord. If you're needing to get a good CRM in place, in terms of customer tracking, payment, scheduling, all that good stuff. Of course, we use GorillaDesk. We've been using them, like I said, since we pretty much started the business 3 to 4 years ago. Pricing's never changed. We finally got an affiliate offer where you get 2 weeks of their pro version for free. So you're saving like 50 bucks essentially because, 1 month is 99. So if you get 2 weeks for free, it's like saving 50 bucks your first month. So, and there's no strings attached either. So say you try it out and you don't like it after that 2 weeks, you can cancel it and move on. And they don't even auto charge you, as a matter of fact. You don't even have to put a card on file. I've always forgot to mention that. They don't make you guys put a card on file or anything like that. So you can literally, it's one of those rare scenarios where you can try them with like no strings attached, no card on file. You forget to cancel it and they charge you. There's none of that. So if you want to try it out, like we said, links for anything that can benefit you will always be in our link tree down below in the description box. It helps if you're looking to help the channel out. I know people always ask, "Oh, how can we help you out? How can just use those links? Any of those affiliate links, if any of them can benefit you whatsoever, just use them. I don't charge you guys. Oh, JVJ sent $1. No, I appreciate that. Y'all don't even have to do that for real, but I appreciate it. Man, yeah, if you have a question, JVJ, shoot it. Cause yeah, no, I appreciate any of those, what they call them, gifts or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I try to, anything that I think can benefit you guys, I always try to put it either in my link tree or in the description box. So if you're always wondering, like, how can we, help you out with the channel and whatnot, if you just use those links, that helps us. Every little bit goes a long way. Let's see. I might be pricing wrong. This is from Light Novel. I might be pricing wrong, but I'm looking at it from a yearly basis. A customer makes me more. A monthly customer makes me more than a quarterly. Yeah, no, like I said, as long as you're pricing it right, like you said, you're going to make more on the yearly with a monthly. But in terms of the scaling, because it's not just the monthly rate that you're talking, you're also talking the fact that you're having to treat that customer every month, where with a quarterly customer, you'll have to treat them every 3 months. So for every one monthly customer, you can get 3 quarterly customers, if that makes sense. So say your average rate for a quarterly customer in terms of the monthly price, right, is $40 a month. 3 of those, because like we said, you get the 3-to-1 ratio, that's $120 a month, where with that one, you're only getting 70. So like I said, you do definitely end up making more with the quarterly, but or you end up making more with the monthly early on, but with the scale, from a scaling side, you make more with the quarterly, if that makes sense. So I had to break that down for my grandfather too, and he even to this day is like, "Oh, I don't give a shit." Sometimes you just can't get people to understand it. I understood the thing. Yeah, yeah. So you got it. You got it. And like I said, I mean, we got plenty of monthly customers on our route as well. I mean, I would say off the top of my head, especially our preferred protection customers, we are out there virtually every month. There might be a month or two where we're not out there, but we're out there pretty much every month for them. But those customers are paying, the lowest is paying like 105 a month. The most expensive is, like I said, paying like 200 and change a month. So it makes sense that we're out there every month doing something. But yeah, no, in terms of just general pest control, quarterly is going to definitely propel you into the 20 to 30,000 plus range per month in terms of scaling. Salvador said, Light Novel, I see why you feel that way initial, but as you get more work, you start needing to look at price per customer. How many exactly. Salvador pretty much said what I was just saying about how, the math works out in terms of, when you're servicing a customer once a month, that takes away a spot for, quarterlies, where with a quarterly, you're doing, say, January, March, or no, damn, what are the service months? January, was it January, April? Man, I lose track of the months. 4 times a year is the whole point. Like January, April, July, October. Yeah, that's right. January, April, July, October. There we go. My months are all messed up because I'm used to telling people right now, oh, we'll see you in August. We'll see you in August. We'll see you in August, because we're in May right now. So that guy that you're seeing in January, you won't see till April. Now you have room to fill a guy in March. Now you have a guy in February as well, in February and March. And like we said, you just do the math on if your average rate for quarterly is $40 a month, multiply that times 3, that's $120. So you're able to do 120 to your average of 70. So yeah, like we said, to me, it's just a situation by situation. There's a time and place for monthly. There's a time and place for quarterly. Most customers, quarterly service is going to work fine. Occasionally, you might need to bump them up to bi-monthly. Hell, some of them, you need to do monthly the whole time. Like we have customers that live right off of a lake, and spiders are crazy. Obviously, if the customer has a phobia of spiders and they live right off of the lake, probably need to service your home monthly, right? So, yeah. Like I said, we don't have any more questions. I'll go ahead and wrap it up. Again, JVJ, I appreciate you if you're still tuning in for the 99-cent gift. All love. I appreciate you for that. And like I said, if you need anything whatsoever, don't hesitate to either A, drop a comment down below once the live goes from a live stream to a video, or in our Discord group, Facebook group, Discord now, we got a whole bunch of you in there, like 300 plus of you in there now. On Facebook, we have over 120 of you last I checked. Awesome to see those communities continue to grow. Like I said a little bit ago, all of the helpful links for you guys that will help you start and grow your pest control business are in my link tree down below. And then I believe there's some other links here and there throughout the description box as well. We'd love to have you in our communities. Like I said, there's no fee or anything for joining those. We'd love to have you in there. Again, if you have any questions after this goes from a live to a video, shout it out in those groups or shout it out in the comments down below. If you like the stream or like the video by the time you're seeing this, hit the thumbs up button. I see we're up to like 8 likes so far. It's awesome to see. I appreciate you guys as always. And lastly, of course, if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below and hit the bell icon. That way you won't miss out on any of the future live streams or videos that we do over here. I appreciate you guys as always. Go crush it to end May. Have a great spring, summer. Let's go get that money and let's get to it.